And now, if you would, let me introduce you to my world record lake trout. Hey folks, do me a favor, practice CPR, catch, photo, and release. The future of fishing is truly in your hands.
Hi everyone, Bob Mehsikomer here for Grant Rods. You know, muskie fishing's a tough deal, and the job's not done till she's in the bag. Well, how do you do that? It's pretty simple. You need big dog rods from Grant Rods. For your next rod, call them at 847-577-0848. Building custom rods since 1983.
Oh, look at that. Oh, big fish. Big fish! This side over here? That is a 50 fish. Folks, you're seeing it right now. My 100th just came in the net at Witch Bay Camp. Holy smokes, Rocky. He ate that thing. There, on your left, you can almost see it. One of the most magnificent sights on the planet, Lake Athabasca nestled just below the 60th parallel. Lake Athabasca hasn't changed in nearly 1,000 years with its pristine shorelines, pure crystal clear water you can actually drink, and countless fish. Boy, has she got fish, that is for everyone willing to travel to Otherside River Lodge. From the magnificent world-class northern pike that prowl these waters to the oldest and biggest lakers on the globe, Athabasca has it all. Otherside River Lodge caters to the true sportsman seeking an all-American plan guided package with 3 incredible meals a day and memories you won't find anywhere else. Records have been broken by guests at Otherside River Lodge in the past. You could be next. Book your dream trip of a lifetime to Otherside River Lodge, where fishing dreams do come true. Call Cliff or Stella toll-free at 1-877-922-0957.
The summer sun never sets upon the Alaskan pike of the Unoko, in the heart of breathtaking Alaska. Evenings will be shared reliving the battles of monster pike. The Midnight Sun Trophy Pike Hunt is on, aboard the 67-foot luxury houseboat, and you're in command. If you're not, you should be. Contact the Midnight Sun Trophy Pike Adventures by calling 800-440-7453 or email them at mstpa50@gmail.com.
Well, everybody, I've got a gentleman on the phone that responded last week, had some questions about Sabaskong Bay, and I thought we would bring him on. John, can you please pronounce your last name for me, please?
Sure, thanks. John Swobodny is my last name.
Boy, I'll tell you, I would have messed that up big time. So let's talk a little bit about the question that prompted this interview.
Sure. So just to give you a little background, and I really appreciate you turning my question into a segment on your show. I didn't expect that, but I really appreciate that. So I'll just give you a little background. So my cousin and I, we've been going up on the Canadian Ontario opener for muskie for the last 3-4 years, and we've been going to the Indian chain, which you're probably familiar with, a lake there called Canyon Lake. And we've had a lot of fun there, but the size potential on those bodies of water is a little bit limited. You're not going to see a 50-inch fish. A trophy on that lake is 42 to 44 inches. So we had a lot of fun, but we through watching shows like yours and seeing those 50-inch class fish on bodies of water like Eagle Lake and Lake of the Woods, we decided let's try Lake of the Woods this year for the opener. So not having never fished the lake, knowing nothing about it, I kind of blindly just booked a resort on Lake of the Woods, specifically in Sabaskong Bay, thinking that at least gives us, there's no guarantees in muskie fishing, but at least gives us the chance at that 50-inch fish that neither of us have caught. And what triggered my question to you is I talked to some of my other buddies about where we were specifically going on Lake of the Woods, which is Sabaskong Bay, and they had said, well, you kind of made the wrong choice there if you're looking for, the chance at a trophy. Sabaskong, it's kind of a numbers area of the lake, and, you're kind of going to be looking at, the same fish you saw kind of on the Indian chain where it's a lot of high 30s-inch fish, and, your odds of getting a 50-inch fish in that part of the lake are, rather slim. So anyway, that's what triggered my question to you, having seen your video last week and seeing the big fish that you caught on Lake of the Woods, to see if that rumor is myth, or if there's any truth to certain parts of the Lake of the Woods being, more numbers oriented versus size.
No, this is going to be a map study is what this is going to be, because your friends are totally wrong. The fish have been in the system forever. That means you've got mature fish throughout the entire system. The time of the year that you're going to Sabaskong Bay is absolutely perfect. The bottom end of the bay, if you will, is really a better fishery before, say, the 15th of July. After that, it starts to algae up and things change. But before that, you've got a great opportunity. The bottom end of the lake is receiving the warm water coming in from the Rainy River system that flows up through. Now, there's going to be a backwash coming out of the big bay as it comes across. And you've got an enormous amount of area in that system that's going to warm up very quickly, and it's going to have early vegetation. It's going to give you a great opportunity. Just like fishing muskies any place, finding the big fish is always going to be the mystery. You can travel around Lake of the Woods, and I have, from top to bottom, from east to west, and you will find not only days that you'll catch nothing but mediocre fish, but you'll find areas where you catch nothing but mediocre fish. But you're choosing to go there early in the season, and that's going to give you an extreme advantage. Let me find a couple of, I've got some maps here for you, so let's just, because this is going to be a mapping session. Where I want to take you guys to, or where I want to take you guys in terms of your group, is I want to get you over into Stevens and Stony. Okay, are you familiar with that area?
I am not.
All right, then when you get to Sabaskong Bay, we used to put in all the time at Morrison Marina, at Gills Morrison Marina. So you would come out of the marina. Here, let me go back to the last map that I had. This is, like I said, we're going to walk through this. We would be putting, no, it's off the map. It would be off of this area here. See where I'm marking it here?
Yep.
Okay, it would be off of that, and you would be coming up into the lake from the Morrison Marina, Sabaskong Bay proper, if you will, and you're going to be going east. And as you go east, you're going to be going into two different particular bays which are of importance to you. One is Stevens, and the other is Stony Portage. Those are the two bays where the spawning's going on. What people don't understand with muskies, or maybe they do, and maybe they're just not talking about it, is to find big fish, you have to find spawning habitat. That's going to sound odd, but they're social creatures, so they develop societies in basic areas. The average home range, ice in to ice out, for a muskie in the Shield is 8 square miles. So if you can find areas that give you, like we have right here, all this blue area that we're looking at right here, all that blue area, let me move this up. We're going to be difficult. We're going to play with this a little bit. All this blue area that I'm marking right here, this is spawning habitat. If we go up east of that, and we start looking at the actual back end of the bay, this is spawning habitat back here. All of this is spawning habitat. And when we get down into Stony, which we'll go to in a second, we have the same situation. Anytime you see that blue mapping on the Canadian Shield map, then you're going to be looking at potential spawning areas. If the fish spawn back in these areas, and they're spawning when the water temps are really cool, the first thing they're going to do when they leave these areas is they're going to migrate out. They're going to migrate out to the first set of little islands and reef structures that they can find. On this particular map, looking at this, I can see this is a very key spot. Here's another very key spot. These are areas where you're going to gun and run. You're going to hit them quickly, and you're going to be out of there. You're not going to spend a lot of time. You won't need to spend a lot of time. You'll just hit them, and you'll move on. If we go down into Stony, Stony is going to give us actually a better makeup. Stony's got a lot more of that type of structure. It doesn't have as much spawning habitat. This is spawning habitat down here, and this is spawning habitat back here. But the most important thing with this is these fish move out. Classic spot here, and look at this reef. I guarantee you that in the early part of the season, in the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the season, you're going to find what you're looking for right through here. You don't have to move very far, and you can find it again here. You don't have to move very far again, and you can find it here and here. What you've got is a migration. These fish have spawned back here, and they're migrating their way out to the basin. So every one of those spots that we've marked there are potential big fish spots. Again, the first thing you're going to find early in the season are going to be the middle-aged fish, the 38 to 42, 44-inch fish. Those are going to be the first fish that rebound after the water starts to warm up. The big females are going to drop off. They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay in that shallows for a bit. When that water starts to warm up into that 66, 67, 70 degrees, you're still early in the season because this shallow end of the lake is going to warm up pretty fast. Then those fish start to move out quickly.
Is it traditional when you fish early in the season there, is it traditional smaller baits, twitch baits, things like that, or were you using bigger bucktails, or kind of what was your tactic early season in that area?
I've answered that question kind of tongue-in-cheek many times, and I answer it basically by saying I never downsize. And the reason I don't downsize is because the fish I'm looking for is eating big. Even that time of the year, that fish I'm looking for is eating large food. So that being said, I spend more time with a big blade than probably most do. But I will literally, by doing so, I will sort through a bunch of fish, pass them up if you will, because they're not going to respond to my lure. The big blades stay slower. And that's key for you to remember. In the spring, the waters are cool. Even though the fish can still burst, it doesn't expel that energy very quickly or very easily, and those big throbbing blades can sometimes be effective. Now, let's stop for just a second. Let's look this over for a second. Let's say that you're there, and you're not fishing a typical, cold in the morning, a little bit of warmth in the afternoon, cold in the evening, the typical early season pattern. Let's say you get on that warm bite. Everything's really warm. I will be the first to take out our custom-made 8 blades and get on them, because I'm starting to pick up fish on an instinctive strike as opposed to a feeding fish. So if I've got water temperatures warming up, the metabolism's warming up, the fish is starting to engage, and all of a sudden I come zipping by with one of these number 8s, these super blades, then I can get that fish to respond. I can at least get her to come to the boat and come in on a figure 8. But typically I'm going to be using my bigger blades. I stay with them as a common rule. Now, that said, don't overlook topwater. Topwater is deadly, especially in Stevens and Stony, because those early vegetations, and I'm talking they come up fast, really fast in those areas, and that topwater will run over the top of those submerged weed beds, and you'll be amazed at what kind of fish can come out of there. Fact is, depending on when you're there, you might even have to fight some surface vegetation already. But those 2 areas are going to be very good for either big blades, warmer conditions, go to your faster blades, get that fish to engage, or go to that topwater. Now, in the cooler conditions, where again, I don't have the classic warming trend, I have typical spring conditions, then I'm walking my baits. I'm throwing an attack dog or I'm throwing a jackpot, but I'm walking the bait. I can cover an awful lot of real estate with a bait that makes an awful lot of agitation and doesn't have to come back to the boat fast. Very much like what I'm doing with my big blade baits, I'm slowing things down. That said, again, let's say that we get that warming trend, we get that really nice peak, it starts to happen, I'm taking out props. I'm going to a Majorca and I'm going to call these fish out of the weed beds or around the reefs, and of course most often it's going to be the last part of the day. It's going to be after that warming trend is really taking advantage. You've got the rocks warming up, the vegetation themselves are warming up, and all these fish are starting to engage.
Well, this is really helpful. You're making me feel a little better about my investment there, Bob, and my decision, because I was a little concerned I had made a big mistake. So,
well,
so this makes me feel better.
Just remember this, Sabaskong Bay is a big body of water. It's a huge body of water, and there's a lot of variables that you're going to have to deal with in this system. If I go back to the map itself of Sabaskong, let's go back to the map here real quick so you can understand how big Sabaskong Bay is. Sabaskong Bay is a very large body of water. The northern rim too, let me see if I've got it for you. Let's see here, the blueberry that's round. I might not have it. Let me see if I've got it. I thought I put it on here for you because the north rim, north channel, if you're familiar where the turtle portage is, this is what used to be the portage, okay? We used to be able to go through that with boats years and years ago. This section right here, for some reason, is pure magic. I honestly can't tell you why, except maybe those fish are still responding to the old current days and stuff, but it is an excellent place. Furthermore, if you don't find them right here, all you need to do is move into this island cluster. Move right down into these island clusters and start looking at these areas in here. This is, again, it's not extremely deep, it's not extremely exposed water, and anything that's moving out of here in terms of water temperature is going to start radiating into the basin itself. So consequently, depending on what if you don't find them back in here or back in here, then you want to start looking at this stuff. Get out here, work this, work down in the island clusters. And there's another spot I will show you real quickly. It was one of my key spots a long time ago. This is off of Blueberry Island. See, this is a round island?
Yep.
This right here, early in the season, has produced really well for me. This right here and right here. All of that.
You're just kind of looking for the traditional, vegetation and rock together. I mean, is that
close to spawning grounds? Close to spawning grounds. That's the key. You want to stay relative to areas off this map right down below us here is a large spawning ground that the fish use. So this is the first cluster that they engage when they come out into the system, and there's a ton of fish. This is a week. This is a week of fishing in here. If you're really in there chowing that apart, that's a week's worth of fishing. How many guys are going in your group?
Just myself and my cousin. I'll be just two in the boat. So.
Just two in the boat. Oh, you guys are going to have fun then, because if you get on something, you don't have to share it with anybody.
Right, yeah.
I'm serious about that.
Is there a lot of boat traffic in that area, or is it a big enough area to where you're not going to be jumping spots and running into a lot of boats on the open?
You're not going to have to bump shoulders, okay? But there are going to be other anglers that are going to be in that area. There's no question about it. Depending on the spring and how people are booking their vacations, the economies are just starting to come back right now. So I don't know if a lot of people have disposable income to go spend on a Canadian trip, but Sabaskong Bay is a pretty popular place early in the year. There's going to be some fishermen there. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. All right. Well, Bob, you've answered all my questions, and I really appreciate you taking the time to give us this education. Too bad we can't have you in the boat. I think if you were in the boat with us, we might have a better shot at catching something, but we're just going to have to do it on our own, I guess.
Oh, make my head explode. I don't.
Thanks again.
I don't know if I would be any different than anybody else. Just go up there and chug lures and have fun. That's what it's all about. You guys will do well. And do me a favor. Send us some pictures when you get back.
If we have any, we will. I promise.
All righty. Have a good time.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, John.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Oh, big fish. Big fish.
This side over here?
That is a 50 fish. Folks, you're seeing it right now. My 100th just came in the net at Witch Bay Camp. Holy smokes, Rocky. She ate that thing.
The summer sun never sets upon the Alaskan pike of the Uinoko, in the heart of breathtaking Alaska. Evenings will be shared reliving the battles of Munster Pike. The Midnight Sun Trophy Pike Hunt is on, aboard the 67-foot luxury houseboat, and you're in command. If you're not, you should be. Contact the Midnight Sun Trophy Pike Adventures by calling 800-440-7453 or email them at mstpa50@gmail.com. Hi everyone, Bob Mehsikomer here for Grant Rods. You know, musky fishing's a tough deal, and the job's not done till she's in the bag. Well, how do you do that? It's pretty simple. You need big dog rods from Grant Rods. For your next rod, call them at 847-577-0848. Building custom rods since 1983.
Thank you.